the movie Emperor, and I have been in love for 3 years. The whole world knows it. He cherishes me, loves me to the core. He writes songs for me, fights for me, and even rents an amusement park just for me. We were about to have our wedding, but who would have guessed that the day before our wedding, his ex-girlfriend came back with his 3.5-year-old child. Today is Leo's birthday. I went to the store and bought his favorite blueberry cake, ready to surprise him. When I got home, it was already 9:30. I unlocked the fingerprint lock and was about to call him when I saw a pair of women's high-heeled shoes next to the shoe rack. Strange. I've never seen Leo bring a female friend home in the 3 years we've been together. Could it be some distant relative? A sense of foreboding rose in my heart, just as I was about to ask Leo about it. I heard his voice coming from the living room. Baby, be good, loosen up a bit. On the other side was the woman's gasping voice. Don't be like this. She will blame you if she finds out. Leo silenced her, his voice hoarse. She only comes home on weekends. You said you're worried, let me ask her. But she said she won't be back. Don't worry. She won't come back tonight. In the living room, the woman was wearing my boyfriend's underwear, sitting on his lap. The scene was chaotic. At a glance, I recognized her as his first love, Anna. My brain short-circuited for a moment. For 3 years, I never doubted Leo's love for me. The emotional confession at the concert, the meticulous care when I was sick. He even had a big fight with his manager just to be with me. Over these years, his love for me was written in every detail. Seeing this scene before my eyes, my heart ached in waves. The woman noticed me and panicked, calling out. Leo raised his head in confusion and saw me, looking a bit flustered. He pushed the woman sitting on his lap aside, ran over and held my hand. Linda, you're back so early today. I kept a cold face, placed the blueberry cake on the table, and could barely control my voice. Who is she? Leo heard the tone of my inquiry, and was clearly displeased. Anna, my high school classmate, he said. With that, my heart turned cold. Didn't you say you two had broken up long ago? I looked at his eyes and asked. Leo, tomorrow is our wedding day. Do you realize what you are doing? Anna, seeing my expression, came over to persuade me softly. Don't blame Leo. We were both drunk, and we are just ordinary friends. Just friends. I almost laughed. Friends don't share underwear. Are you so poor that you can't even afford underwear? Daddy, Mommy. A child stumbled out of the room, with features 80% like Leo and a mouth resembling Anna's, about 3.5 years old. He timidly hugged Anna's leg, hiding behind Leo, glancing at me with fear. I let out a cold laugh. So the child is this big already. Miss Anna, do you even have a sense of shame? Hearing my words, Anna's face looked ugly, changing from green to white, then covered her mouth and burst into tears, crying. Leo stood up, shielded her, and scolded me. Linda, you're going too far. I almost didn't recognize him anymore. In the past, no matter what happened, he always stood in front of me to protect me, afraid that I would suffer the slightest grievance. But now, he was against me. A wry smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. In that moment, everything became clear. Without saying a word, I quickly packed my bags and was about to leave. Just as I was about to step out of the door, I heard Leo angrily say, Linda, if you dare to walk out that door, don't even think about coming back. Without stopping my steps, I pulled my suitcase and walked away without looking back, only hearing the sound of a slammed door behind me. I had a drink. The evening breeze blew, and I sobered up a bit. It's impossible to say that those many years of affection mean nothing. After Leo and Anna broke up, I was the one who stood by him through the low moments. My sincerity touched him. Later, his eyes were only on me. I could feel that his feelings for me were real. I always thought we would grow old together, but reality poured a bucket of cold water on me. The moment Anna appeared, he couldn't hold back. All those vows and promises were all bullshit. I sighed. Life goes on. I'll just consider Leo dead. Room 1201. I arrived at the hotel room, swiped the card, and opened the door. Throwing my suitcase, I lay back on the soft bed, ready to get a good night's sleep. But to my surprise, I heard the bathroom door open, causing me to sit up hastily. How could there be someone else in this room? A young man came out of the bathroom rubbing his wet hair. His figure stood upright there. His straight posture outlined a charming jawline. The bath towel loosely wrapped around his lower body, revealing his abs and perfect V-line. Unconsciously, I swallowed. He saw me, also clearly startled. Hello, is this room 1201? Did you walk into the wrong room? I shook my head with a confident tone. No, this is right, it's here. His voice was clear and pleasant, with a sexy magnetism to it. Looking at my disheveled appearance, he asked, are you drunk? I couldn't read his expression clearly and shook my head again. No, impossible. I'm not drunk. Maybe it was the alcohol. My brain felt a bit warm, so I collapsed back onto the bed. I didn't care. This is my room, you go change. He sighed, smiled helplessly, and left. Satisfied, I closed my eyes, ready to rest. In a daze, someone put their hand on my forehead, cool, as if checking my temperature. I turned over and fell asleep again. The next morning, I woke up early. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw a strange man lying next to me, close enough for me to see his eyelashes. I grabbed his hand tightly, my head still resting on his arm. In that moment, my heart was racing like 1,000 wild horses, shocked beyond words. What happened last night? He must have been woken up by me, and as I didn't say anything, he broke the eerie silence first. My tolerance for alcohol has never been good, so I rarely drink. I couldn't remember anything about last night. Looking at his profile, I tentatively asked, "Hey, did I do anything last night?" After recalling, he politely said, "No." I instantly breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, I have good self-control. His face was overly delicate, with a good demeanor, not losing to Leo at all. If he entered the entertainment industry, investors would definitely be eager to support him. My phone lit up with a bunch of messages. I unlocked my phone to check them one by one. My phone was on silent last night, and to my surprise, Leo had called me over 100 times, along with calls from my family, all marked with a series of red numbers. The SNS was also blowing up. Before I could reply, another call came in. It was from my mom. Hesitating for a moment, I answered the call. "Linda, where are you now?" My mom's voice sounded anxious. "I'm at the hotel." My mom was clearly taken aback. "Drinking?" "Linda, stop fooling around and come back. The wedding is about to start. Everyone is waiting for you." She kept trying to persuade me, almost on the verge of tears. I knew my mom wanted me to be happy, and didn't want me to miss out on marriage, because of my stubbornness. But some things, once wrong, are just wrong. I squeezed the phone, a cold feeling washing over me. This mess needed to be cleaned up sooner rather than later. Anna taking care of Leo's child. If I gave in now, would I end up being their nanny, and taking care of the child after marriage? I got it, Mom, I'll come back now. At the wedding venue, everyone was beaming with happiness. When they saw me arriving, a bunch of reporters swarmed around, bombarding me with questions. "Linda, today is your big day with the top film actor. What do you feel? Linda, why aren't you wearing the wedding dress Leo had customized for you? Did something happen?" I dodged the crowds pushing and shoving, finally managing to squeeze to the center stage. Leo and my parents were chatting about something, making my dad burst into laughter. Leo walked over to me with a smile, about to take my arm, but I just gave him a cold glance and avoided him. For a moment, the atmosphere turned awkward. "Linda, I was wrong," he apologized with a smile. "Stop messing around, okay?" I coldly retorted, "Leo, this farce should have ended long ago." He got angry. "I've already apologized to you. What else do you want?" Hearing this, the surrounding reporters swarmed around, cameras pointing at us. The media wasn't afraid of exposing scandals. They were afraid of having nothing to expose. The moment this incident went public, the stock price of his family's space group would plummet. Leo's face quickly switched back to that loving and heartbroken expression, acting as if it were real. I found that face nauseating even if I glanced at it for a second longer. He tried to hold my hand. "Linda." I disgustingly pulled my hand away and emotionlessly said, "I'm here to inform you, the wedding is off. Leo, you're free." Leo was obviously caught off guard by my decisiveness this time. Looking flustered, he held my hand desperately. "Linda, I was wrong this time, please forgive me. I can't live without you." Under the gaze of the cameras, he continued to uphold his image. Countless times, in the public eye, he was seen helping me with my heels, ruffling my hair, and looking at me with adoration. Now, it all seemed ridiculously funny. "Daddy," a clear child's voice rang out. I saw a child appearing out of nowhere at the scene, clinging to Leo's legs, tears streaming down his face pitifully. "Daddy, don't you want me and Mommy anymore?" Anna rushed out in a panic the next second, quickly picking up the crying boy, drawing countless eyes in an instant. "Daddy." Leo's face turned ashen, almost speechless due to anger. "Didn't I tell you not to bring him out?" Tears welled up in Anna's eyes, looking extremely wronged. "It wasn't on purpose." Leo's heart softened slightly at her words, but the reporters swarmed in, bombarding Leo with questions. "Leo, is this child really yours? Leo, did Linda know about the child beforehand? Leo." I watched as chaos erupted at the wedding scene, guests whispering among themselves. It was clear that the trending topics, such as top movie star actually has a 3-year-old son. Movie star reveals 3-year-old at wedding would be surfacing soon. Seeing my indifferent expression standing outside the commotion, Leo was thoroughly annoyed. "Linda, if you dare take a step out of here today, let's see who will still marry you. Clearly, it was a threat, but was I scared? I was never meant to be a puppet to be manipulated by others. Leo trying to use his resources to pressure me was nothing but a pipe dream. After all these years, he still didn't understand me. I found it amusing and had no intention of engaging with him. I dare. At that moment, a cold voice sounded behind me. Turning around in surprise, I saw a man in a suit with a stern expression, a hint of coldness in his eyes. It was the man from the hotel last night. How did he get here? In a daze, a warm hand enveloped mine, gently guiding me as we walked up to Leo. Big brother. Leo could hardly get the words out. I knew a bit about Leo's older brother. Samuel, Leo's firstborn, had studied abroad, returned to the country last year, and within a year, had managed to establish the space group, becoming a legend in the business world. I stole a glance at him. His handsome and delicate features, high nose bridge, could easily be mistaken for a popular idol at first glance. Samuel held my hand, giving Leo a cold look, a presence that was undeniable. Leo, call her sister-in-law. Leo's expression turned uncharacteristically ugly, his lips pale, trembling, struggling to say those two words. His tone became even colder, commanding, call her. With a dark face, Leo begrudgingly, teeth clenched, muttered, sister-in-law. Upon hearing him address me, Samuel slightly nodded before pulling me away from the tumultuous scene. I looked at his tall figure and silently thought to myself, oh my god, was I blind last night? How did I think he had a soft, pushover body? Maybe I was staring absent-mindedly, because he lightly chuckled and asked, what's wrong? You've hidden it very well. Samuel smirked and praised Linda too much. The next day, news about Leo was everywhere. I heard many co-workers discussing Leo's collapsed building incident, and the news about him having a child was spreading like wildfire. Several executives were afraid I would be sad and affect the company's operations, so they came to comfort me. I shook my head to indicate that I was fine, but I didn't expect that by not causing trouble for them, trouble would find me instead. Anna showed up at the company's entrance with her son, begging me to spare them. This incident attracted a lot of attention, and many media outlets rushed over. I sneered and bent down. Anna, what are you doing? Anna kneeled on the ground, her eyes turning red, and pleaded, please spare us a way out. It was as if she was suggesting that I was bullying her. You should talk to Leo about this. What's the use of begging me? I let her kneel there and returned to the office to chill with the air conditioning. It was such a hot day, and if she loved to kneel so much, then let her kneel. Not long after, Leo hurried over and started angrily berating me. Anna almost fainted. Her little face turned pale, evoking pity. Leo, don't blame sister. I chose to kneel on my own, Anna said. Leo looked at her with a mix of concern and urgency. Anna, don't be afraid. As long as I'm here, no one can bully you. He glared at me furiously, a look on his face I had never seen before. Linda, why didn't I realize before that you're so malicious? Do you have no conscience? How can you make a 3-year-old child kneel at the front door? Conscience? I chuckled and looked at his face, feeling nauseated. Do you even have the right to talk to me about conscience? We dated for 3 years, and all your resources were provided by me. I worked hard to find cooperation opportunities for you, made you a star, poured my heart and soul for you, and what did you do? You found a mistress across international borders, and had a 3-year-old child behind my back. Leo, why don't you think about it? Do you even have the qualifications to stand in front of me? With each sentence I uttered, his face darkened and he looked angrier. Even so, why do you have the right to vent your anger on an innocent child? Innocent? I sneered. What innocence is there? Leo, has love blinded you? From the moment he was in the mistress's belly, he's no longer innocent. Leo was too angry to speak, his face dark, and he raised his hand as if to slap me. I intercepted his wrist, coldly saying, want to hit me? You're not qualified. I pushed away his dirty hand, disgust evident as I wiped my hands with an alcohol wipe before tossing it into the trash. Leo, if you can't even get your family to accept her, don't take it out on me. And this is my company. Please take your mistress and her child back home. Every glance I give you two now makes me feel dirty. People around us were pointing fingers, and some were even taking videos with their phones. He staggered a few steps, then regained his balance and glared fiercely at me before leaving with Anna and his son in a sorry state. As soon as they left, this incident became a hot search topic. A 3-year-old toddler kneeling under the scorching sun, suspected of abuse. Anna kneels with her child, begging Linda for mercy. Leo's lover forced to kneel. A series of dark hot search topics swiftly made headlines. Clearly someone had bought the hot search. The speed was as if it was prepared in advance. I felt disdainful knowing this was Anna's scheme. I was about to have it removed from the hot search, when I realized the software had crashed. After some inquiries, I found out that Samuel had arranged for the servers to go down. I thought, after helping me out so much, it was only proper to invite him to dinner. But who was Samuel? With so many people wanting to meet him, he must be too busy to see me. I had originally thought of just being courteous, but I never expected him to agree to the appointment. Sitting on the couch, I looked at the message on my phone and almost sprayed the milk in my mouth. Hold on, didn't he say he was too busy to meet due to important matters? This got me worried. At 7:30 in the evening, he showed up at the upscale restaurant I had reserved, dressed very formally. I raised my glass. Samuel, thank you for your help, but is it worth causing a rift between brothers? Samuel raised his glass to clink with mine, making a crisp sound. His voice was deep. For you, it's worth it. My eyebrows raised, and jokingly I said, Samuel, such a statement could be easily misunderstood. However, Samuel looked into my eyes seriously. Linda, may I court you? Hearing those words, I was momentarily stunned. I clinked his glass, finished the drink, and jokingly replied, Samuel, you can try, but I'm not easy to pursue. But since then, Samuel really started pursuing me. He picked me up for work, accompanied me to the supermarket, prepared brown sugar water for me when I wasn't feeling well during my period, took me to the mountain pavilion to listen to the rain on rainy days, and even told me stories. He made nutritious lunches for me when my stomach ached, kept cold and fever medicine ready for me to prevent seasonal colds. Unlike Leo, he provided me emotional value, made me feel secure, and respected every decision I made. Sometimes, just standing there, I couldn't help but smile and feel like running into his arms. Samuel made me feel pure, comfortable, and special. I was in a period of career growth, and Samuel woke up early every day to make breakfast for me. By the time I got home late at night, he would still be waiting on the couch. I touched his head lovingly and asked, let's forget about this. You have your own company, it's too tiring. He sleepily replied, we can't forget, you can't let go. But even if you let go, it's okay. I'll chase you until you agree. I was amused by his answer. Did I save the Milky Way in my previous life to meet such a cute and romantic man? I thought my life would be smooth sailing from then on, but unexpected surprises always disrupt the calm. That day, I was sitting on the couch, going through the materials for the company's IPO. Suddenly, a message popped up on my phone. It was from Leo. He said he wanted to meet me and hand something important to me. Reluctant to see him again, I had already given up on him, but it seemed like he could read my mind, because the next second, he sent me a picture. It was a bracelet, a keepsake from my mother that I couldn't find when moving, only to realize that Leo had it. It was my mother's last wish for me, and I had to get it back. I agreed to meet him, and we arranged to meet at a coffee shop at 4:30 in the afternoon. As I was about to leave, Samuel tightly held my hand, assuring me that I would be back soon. I patted his hand, smiling, and said, this is my home, I'll be back soon. He didn't say anything, but just hugged me and whispered softly in my ear, okay, I'll be waiting for you at home. When I arrived at the coffee shop, Leo had been waiting for a while, looking anxious. Where is it? I asked. Leo pulled out a wooden box that was obviously made of high-quality sandalwood. A discerning eye knew what he had in mind. I took out the bracelet, then reverted my hand and pushed the wooden box back. With tears in his eyes, Leo looked at me. Linda, is there really no chance for us to reconcile? I smiled, and before I could say anything, I saw Anna walking towards us. She had a big belly, struggling to walk with her hand on her waist. I looked at Leo with a smirk and congratulated him, saying, another one on the way, huh? Hearing this, Leo's expression shifted, becoming flustered. Linda, you have to listen to me, I am not. I cut him off and asked if he could cut off all ties with Anna for me. He hesitated. It was clear that after all these years, the intimate companionship we had couldn't compare to his feelings for Anna. I was just a plaything to him, something he could easily discard when tired. In his eyes, I was nothing compared to Anna, and he would undoubtedly choose her without hesitation. Crestfallen, he stammered, Linda. I smiled, raised my hand to stop him from speaking further. Leo, you don't need to explain. We are no longer on the same page. Seeing me, Anna's eyes filled with tears, looking utterly aggrieved. Standing there, she seemed to imply that I was bullying her, a role I was tired of playing. Ignoring her, I was about to leave, but Anna grabbed my arm. Sister, wiping away her tears, she pleaded, it's my fault in the past, has nothing to do with Leo. Can you forgive him? I raised an eyebrow. Forgive him? In what capacity, are you asking me? Anna's face darkened. Not accepted by Leo's family, unmarried with 2 kids. She was the town gossip, a laughing stock. Clenching her fists, she quickly relaxed them, looking pitifully at me. Sister, I interrupted her. Anna, I'm busy. I don't have time for idle chats. Your tricks won't work on me. I don't want to be involved. As I tried to pull my sleeve from her grasp, she suddenly let go and fell backward. We were on the second floor, and I happened to be standing at the stairs entrance. Anna tumbled down several steps before her figure disappeared. The ground where she lay turned red as blood pooled around her, a frightening sight. The coffee shop erupted in screams. Someone called for an ambulance, and Leo paled, nervously checking on her. Amid the chaos, strong hands covered my mouth and nose, injecting something into me. After feeling dizzy, I couldn't recall anything. When I woke up, my mouth was dry, and my head was throbbing. I was tied to a chair in an abandoned warehouse. A burly man approached, removed the black tape from my mouth, and started a video call. On the other end was Anna's face. She was lying on a hospital bed, casually eating fruits. Oh, sister, why do you look so disheveled? I stared coldly at her, knowing what happened without asking. Anna, do you even realize what you're doing? She nonchalantly ate an apple slice and lazily replied, I know, don't worry, sister. Tomorrow, a truckload of diseased pigs will be incinerated. Your petite body won't be found. I clenched my fists. Do you even know how you're being perceived outside? The burly man handed me his phone, showing a series of explosive headlines. Former lover of famous actor cruelly kills current partner's unborn child. Founder of XX company pushes pregnant woman down the stairs. I glanced but had no desire to read further. This was clearly a manipulated narrative. Everything had been orchestrated by Anna. She falsely accused me of causing her to lose her child, using her vulnerable position to garner sympathy. The more the media attacked me, the more it worked in her favor. My disappearance could be explained as seclusion, while Anna's loss of a child could pressurize Space Group into marrying her due to public opinion. In other words, even if Anna didn't win Leo's heart, she could still get a hefty compensation, and my company would suffer in the stock market due to this scandal. It was a win-win for Anna, a double blow for me. Anna's face was full of the smugness of a winner. Through the screen, her eyes were full of disdain. Linda, you've always looked down on me. How does it feel to be stepped on by me now? I chuckled instead of getting angry, and said calmly, Anna, you better not be too proud of yourself. Do you really think Leo loves you? No, he's always only loved one person, Anna said with a fierce look in her eyes. You think you can provoke me, Linda? This time you're done for. No one can take Leo away from me. Throwing the apple in her hand angrily, she seemed as if she wanted to tear me apart. After a while, she calmed herself down and suddenly burst out laughing. Aren't you curious how that bracelet ended up in my hands? She asked. I furrowed my brows, finally about to uncover a piece of the truth. I've been thinking all along, how can I get you closer to me and carry out my plan step by step? Until I saw this bracelet, she continued. Do you really think Leo found the bracelet? No, I gave it to him. I told him it was your mother's belonging, and sure enough, he couldn't wait to find you. Staring coldly into her eyes, I asked, why did the bracelet end up with you? Patiently peeling another apple, Anna leaned closer to the screen, as if to get a better look at me. Because your mother's death was caused by me, she said. Upon hearing this, my nose tingled with sadness. My mother had died in a car accident when I was young, leaving me without her care ever since. The most important thing in my life had disappeared so easily, but the car accident was suspicious. When I started to investigate, the culprit and his family had disappeared without a trace. For many years, I never gave up on finding out the truth of that day. It wasn't until Anna returned to the country that clues gradually surfaced. Clutching my fists, almost unable to control my trembling voice, I asked, why did you do this? I've always wondered why, she replied with a hoarse voice, her face almost contorted in anger. Why were you always the top student, the envy of the school, while I was just a poor kid from the slums with nothing to show for? Why are some born with a silver spoon in their mouth, while others can never lift their heads high? Suddenly, Anna laughed, her expression turning from scornful to manic. But in this world, there aren't so many whys. Since life is so unfair, let's make the unfair ones disappear completely. And then, Anna said, Linda, do you know, the one I always wanted to kill was you. But later, I realized that living people are always more painful than dead ones. She threw the apple core into the trash can and instructed, watch her closely, don't let her escape. Got it. The men in black retaped my mouth and locked the door before leaving. The warehouse was dark, with no light seeping in, and the only sound was the squeaking of rats. So dark, the only faint light, barely noticeable, was from a tiny recorder hidden in my clothes. The evidence from back then had been destroyed, and all I could do now was to make Anna let her guard down and obtain new evidence. The recorder had GPS tracking, which I had confirmed with Samuel before setting off. All I could do now was wait. I needed to wait for Samuel to find me, as he was waiting for me to come home. 2 days had passed, and they hadn't provided me with any food or water. I was hungry and exhausted, almost unable to open my eyes. It had been so long, and Samuel still hadn't found me. There was only one possibility. There was a signal jammer installed here, interfering with the GPS locator's normal function. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was going to be taken to the incineration site. As time ticked by, I could almost hear a buzzing in my ears, and hallucinations were starting to set in. With a bang, the door was kicked open, and the men in black rudely lifted me up to escort me. I tried to struggle, but my stomach was hit hard by one of them. That blow made my stomach almost spasm, aching and wanting to retch. "Behave, so we don't have to rough you up," one of the men in black said impatiently. Suddenly, the sound of aircraft wings filled the sky. It was so loud, so close, as if it were right above the roof. But how could there be a plane here? I laughed at myself, mocking my own hallucinations. But the next moment, a group of people burst in, getting into a brawl with the men in black. Their shadows crossed, shouting and fighting in front of my eyes, in disarray. I was fully aware that my body had reached its limit. My consciousness was dissolving, and I fell weightlessly to the ground. The world was spinning around me. Dimly, I saw the one leading the charge run towards me regardless of everything. It was Samuel, coming to find me. Struggling to smile, I fell into his arms, feeling comforted by his warmth. At that moment, I just wanted to stay in his embrace forever. I was so tired. It was a struggle just to keep my eyes open. I wanted to shut my eyes. In a daze, among a bustling crowd, I saw a figure. He stood there silently, looking at me with sorrow. His silhouette seemed so familiar, resembling Leo. But how could that be possible? He must be by his loved one's bedside now. The person looked at me for a while, then silently walked away. When I woke up, all I saw was a white ceiling. I had needles in my body, connected to fours. "Linda, you're awake." Samuel greeted me with a joyful expression. His eyes had dark circles, as if he hadn't slept all night, filled with worry. "Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere? Are you hungry? Do you want some water?" After 2 days of torment, my body was sore and weak, but when I saw Samuel, all the pain vanished. This man, all he had in his eyes was me. A small smile tugged at my lips, and I said, "I'm fine. I just want you to keep me company." He squeezed my hand, a trace of indulgence in his smile, of course. My body recovered quickly. After submitting the new evidence, the events of that day were quickly re-examined by the authorities, and the whole truth came to light. When Anna was arrested, I stood in front of her. She couldn't believe I was still alive, looking at me almost madly. Anna had dreamed of killing me, but she had underestimated my perseverance and overestimated herself. As an old acquaintance, I naturally had to greet her properly. "Long time no see, Miss Anna. Are you surprised to see me standing here in the flesh?" She was being held by the police, but still seemed like she wanted to lunge at me and tear me apart. Samuel shielded me behind him. Anna seemed almost frantic, muttering to herself and shaking her head repeatedly. "No, this can't be. How can this be? My plan was flawless." I chuckled and asked, "Oh, really? Do you really think I had no clue about what happened back then?" "Even though the phone number you used to contact the perpetrator was deactivated, I traced the IP address. I've been keeping an eye on you ever since the day you returned to the country. But I didn't expect that you would quickly hook up with Leo." Anna immediately caught on, her face filled with disbelief and her voice trembling. "So, this was all a setup by you. You let yourself get caught on purpose." I just smiled and remained silent, considering it a little gift for all the special attention she had given me over the years. After hearing this, she went berserk, seemingly ready to take me down with her, but was quickly subdued by the police. Linda. I watched her as she was being taken away. Years of resentment, just like the previously overcast sky, suddenly dispersed in the sunlight. Birds chirped lightly along the way, the sun shining just right. I held my partner's hand, strolling through the bustling streets, our shadows mingling with the tree shadows. The public opinion was quickly corrected. My company successfully went public, and the post management became more and more standardized, giving me more freedom with my time. Through the tough stagnant periods and the most difficult lows, Samuel stuck it out with me. He always said, "No matter how hard it gets, I'll be by your side." One evening with the sun's last glow, he said he wanted to take me to the seaside to enjoy the evening breeze. Covering my eyes, he leaned in close and whispered, "Are you ready?" I nodded, and the next moment, I saw a beach covered with red roses, romantic lights, and balloons. Samuel knelt down, holding a bouquet of fiery red roses, and asked, "Linda, will you marry me?" Inside the bouquet was a small black box containing a diamond ring, quietly waiting. My vision blurred for a moment, my throat felt tight, and I couldn't speak. With the evening breeze on my face and the joyful songs of the waves, I gently nodded. Samuel held me close, kissing my eyes. Half a month later, the news of my upcoming marriage to Samuel flooded the major websites. On the day of the wedding, I looked at several wedding dresses, but couldn't decide which one to wear. Samuel pressed his lips together, chuckling as he let me choose. The groomsmen outside urged us on, but he shooed them away. I'll go with this one. I finally made up my mind and picked the longest hemline dress. We recited vows in the hall, exchanged rings, and he kissed me passionately amidst cheers. Someone once asked me, what is happiness? I think this is the answer. Leo's epilogue. During my most painful times, she was always there with me, helping me forget about Anna. I always thought she would stay with me forever, but afterwards, she was always busy with her own work, and I often couldn't see her for weeks, or even months. The passion gradually faded away during these long waits. I admit, we had a very beautiful memory between us. I wrote songs for her, played the guitar, and when we were alone at the amusement park, I could see the happiness overflowing in her smiles. One day at the amusement park, sitting at the top of the Ferris wheel, I asked her, what is happiness? She looked into my eyes, laughing joyfully and not giving an answer. Upon reflection, I realized that it was me who transitioned from a lover to a distant brother-in-law, pushing her away. As I watched her and my brother march into the realm of marriage, filled with happiness, my heart twinged with pain. Some people, the more they try to forget, the memories flood back seamlessly like the tide. Do I regret it? My throat feels like it's being pricked by needles, as I repeatedly touch the sandalwood box in my hand. Actually, I had the answer a long time ago.